The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
And yes, we had the live stream up of the Cubs game, and it looks like it's the Cubs broadcast, so that's good. So even though we don't have the volume on, obviously, we can. It's Len and Jim Deshays. The Cubs are trailing 2-0 in the top of the second here. Salazar's pitching well so far. Hamill not so much, but I have a feeling he'll settle down, and hopefully he won't give up any more than those 2 runs that he gave up in the first inning. So hopefully not. And Starlin Castro is up to bat, and so that's exciting. But last night the Cubs won 17-0, which was huge. Biggest margin of victory for the Cubs since 1969, which obviously they had one of their best teams ever in '69. But they played really well. Anthony Rizzo got out of his slump. Chris Bryant got out of his home run slump. He was hitting the ball well, but he hit that grand slam off of Daniel Murphy in the
did you hear what
top of the ninth.
Murphy said in the post game?
I did not.
He said, "I have Chris Bryant on my fantasy team,"
and so do you. So that I mean, there was because I know when I made the league, I put in
slams yesterday.
Oh,
Todd
really?
Frazier hit a walk-off grand slam.
Yes, I did see that. So obviously you're leading whichever player you're playing this week.
I was looking at the pitching matchups. The Cubs face Clayton Kershaw on Monday.
Ooh, exciting. All right, yeah, we should think about that.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That does, and like you said, the Cubs do hit Kershaw pretty well.
Yeah, I mean,
and Kershaw's not having the best of years. He's starting to settle down into his groove now, but it was a little interesting.
Last year they scored 5 runs off of him. The year before they beat him 2-1.
Right. So I mean, I don't know, but that will be very exciting. So if that's a Monday, I think Tsuyoshi Wada pitches that day. So I don't.
Yes, I think Arrieta pitches on Sunday.
Yeah, Arrieta pitches in the finale against Minnesota Sunday. Unfortunately, we won't see Kyle Schwarber on that Monday night.
Most likely not, unless he's hitting like 800.
I think Theo Epstein had already. Well, of course, he said this before Schwarber played, but he said he's going to go to AAA no matter what happens. No matter if he gets a hit every time he's up, which he almost did last night. 4 for 5. He was he was a home run and a double away from the cycle, but it looked like he had a good chance of getting at least one of those towards the end. I thought for sure he'd probably hit a home run because, as we know, Cubs debuts seem to go very well with the long ball.
Yeah, everyone except for Chris Bryant.
Right, everyone except Bryant.
Which is the funny thing. He's probably like the best home run hitter out of all of them.
Out of all of them together, I would say you're right, but... he hit a mammoth grand slam. Although it was a little bit of a cheapie because it was off of a position player. But I mean, it's baseball.
Hey, so. It got out. That's all that matters. Yeah, it was estimated 452 feet to dead center. I mean, when he hit that, I was like, oh, he just hit a grand slam.
And Rizzo hit his home run off of one knee, pretty much. Which is cool.
There's been 5 different position players to pitch the past 2 days.
Oh, is that right? I know there was some other people the day before.
Yeah, there was 3 the day before.
Was that in that Orioles game or something? I know the Orioles blew out whoever they played.
The funny thing, the Orioles and Phillies game, Jerome Williams, former Cub terrible pitcher, and he pitched 2/3 of the first inning and gave up like 8 runs. So
I saw he pitched .2 innings.
So then a relief pitcher came in, and then he gave up 3 home runs.
Well, that's a shame. They probably should have kept Williams in. I don't know if he would have given up 3 home runs.
Yeah. Fox Sports MLB made 3 tweets that you just kind of wonder, wow. Can't predict baseball part 1. 3 position players have pitched tonight. This is on Tuesday.
Right.
Jeff Francoeur, Jake Elmore, and Nick Franklin. All 3.
I saw Jeff Francoeur doing...
he threw the only 1-2-3 inning for the Phillies.
Yeah, he did a pretty nice job. He
all 3 gave up a home
success.
run, though. He pitched a second inning, gave up a home run. Can't predict baseball part 2. Wilson Ramos, Todd Frazier, Manny Machado, Chris Parmelee, and Luis Valbuena all have hit 2 home runs tonight.
Talk about people who are just on a home run tear. Luis Valbuena is doing really. I mean, he's only batting like
186. He's got like 18 home runs.
18 home runs, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Can't predict baseball part 3. Chris Young, the American League starting pitcher for the Royals, drove in 3 runs.
I saw that.
That's more runs scored. He drove in more runs that night than Arizona, Minnesota, Seattle, the White Sox, the Toronto, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Tigers, and the Brewers had all scored in their games.
Yeah, that's
American League pitcher drove in more runs than about 8 or 10 teams.
And I believe that was, or actually I think it was last night, Ned Yost has now tied Whitey Herzog for the most wins in Royals history, which is very interesting because the Royals obviously haven't had very many winning managers. If Ned Yost, I think this is his 4th or 5th year with the Royals.
Been there long.
He already has tied Whitey Herzog for the most wins in Royals history. That's pretty impressive. It's also kind of interesting, and it also kind of shows you how bad the Royals were for a long period of time.
Can't predict baseball part 4. The Orioles, Marlins, and Nationals scored a combined 47 runs and had 56 hits.
Unbelievable.
That really is unbelievable. I mean, it just shows how crazy baseball has been, and now a lot of teams are just going like, hey, we don't want to waste our bullpen in a game like this. Just have a position player pitch, like in that game I went to in Milwaukee. The only relief pitcher.
That's when David Ross pitched, right?
The only 2 relief pitchers that hadn't pitched were Strop and Rondon, and it's like, yeah, those are the 2 guys we want to save for when we have a lead.
Right. I don't know. It's been a crazy couple days of baseball, that's for sure.
There's been a ton of home runs. Yesterday there were 2 grand slams. Bryant hit the one off of David Murphy. That'll be a good trivia question. Who did Chris Bryant hit his first career grand slam off of?
I don't think anyone's going to say Murphy.
And there'll be like 4 choices. There'll be 3 pitchers and then David Murphy.
They'll be like, well, it can't be David Murphy.
It can't be David Murphy. He's an outfielder.
But it is.
It really is. And then Todd Frazier hit a walk-off grand slam in the 13th inning.
Yeah, I saw that. They've been on a roll.
He has 4 home runs in 2 days, and then
the problem is their team together. I mean, they have a bunch of good individual players, but their team together is just bad.
Yeah, and then Brian Price gave Todd Frazier the day off today, even though he has 4 home runs in 2 days.
Well, I mean, it's a good. I mean, he deserves a day of rest for pretty much carrying the whole Reds team.
I would have kind of gone to play him today if he doesn't hit a home run, then he gets the next day off.
Yeah, and you also added Jay Bruce, right?
I think I did.
Yeah.
He had 4 hits yesterday.
I know. I dropped him a little too early. I should have kept him for a little bit.
No, he's still not doing good. That's his first good game for me.
He's still not doing too well? Okay.
No,
well,
I think that 4 for 5 got the average up to 220.
Because my outfield isn't very good right now. It's Alex Gordon, Brett Gardner, and Dexter Fowler right now because Solaire's on the DL.
Yeah, I was looking at your team, so I was kind of wondering, how does he have all these wins?
How am I 9-1?
Yeah, and then I look, I see, you don't have like the big, like I have a bunch of big name underperformers. You just have a lot of guys that are like doing really good. I mean, like I was like, man, he has Kipnis.
Yeah, Longoria is my
Goldschmidt.
Well, yes, of course, Paul Goldschmidt's doing it.
360 with 20 home runs. I was like, man, he's got a really
DH
good
is
team.
Mitch Moreland, who's done really well this last month. He's done really well. I have Kyle Seager, Rizzo, and somebody else as my. That's in my utility spots. I have Posey. I have Crawford. As my shortstop, so yeah, it's going pretty well. My weakest spot is probably Dexter Fowler right now.
Yeah, probably your outfield.
Yeah, my outfield. I mean, Gardner's done okay, but he has stretches where he doesn't do anything. So
yeah, he's not a good guy that you want anchoring your outfield.
Right. Well, I guess technically my anchor right now is Gordon. He's not very good either, so I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely my weak spot is my outfield. Cubs are losing 2-0 still. It's the bottom of the second. Hamill is trying to work through a 1-2-3 inning in the second, which would be really nice to see after giving up 2 runs.
Yeah, that's another guy on your fantasy team, like not like a big name guy,
right,
that's
but a guy
doing
that's
really
done
well.
really well. Yeah, my staff is pretty good. I just picked up Chavez from Oakland a couple weeks ago. He just pitched 7 strong innings and gave up 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts. Right? I think the A's won that game like 16-2 or something last night. It was
There's
crazy.
been a lot of like high scoring.
There has
games,
been. That's why I said it's been a crazy day.
The Nationals beat.
Few days.
2 days ago, the Nationals beat the Rays like 16-2 or 16-1, and then the next day they lost 5-0 to the Rays.
Yeah, it's not good when you're losing 5-0 to the Rays. I mean, the Rays are a pretty good team, which is very surprising.
Yeah, especially when Archer's not the starting pitcher for that game too.
Right. Tampa Bay's still in first place by a game or 2 by the Yankees, so it's been pretty crazy. All right, Hamill gets through his 1-2-3 inning. That's exciting. We're going to take a break. We'll talk about the White Sox next. They've lost 6 in a row.
7, I think. 6.
No, it'll be 7 tonight. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, Cole's pitching.
Garrett Cole's pitching. He's probably been the best pitcher in baseball this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens either during or after the season with the Sox if the manager needs to go and all that.
We'll discuss some comments made by Rick Hahn the other day.
I saw those. I saw those, and it doesn't help. If you're a White Sox fan,
still a believer that
certainly
they can
doesn't
make the
help
playoffs.
you. No, I think people realize time is ticking on that. You're listening to Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.